So, if you saw my post about the 12 phases of outgrowing your own success and recognize yourself in one or maybe two or maybe all of them, I want to take it one layer deeper. And if you're new to my channel and you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go into the description box of this video and you'll find the post there. So these 12 phases are not different problems. They are what happens when the identity that built your life is no longer the identity that wants to leave it, right? So they're completely two different things, and we often mistake it to be the same thing. And it's a weird place to be because, you're like, man, my life is great. I'm making amazing money. I have the business, the relationship. I have my dream house. I have the freedom and recognition people would die for. I have the spiritual awareness. They tell you now you're a guru, right? But you wonder why am I not satisfied by this anymore? And there's a nuance that those 12 phases will help you awaken into. So, for example, I'm just going to go a little bit deeper into the nuance, the emotional blueprint for each. So if you are the builder, you often feel burdened by maintaining what you built. If you're the optimizer, you keep fixing a life you have already outgrown. The beautiful life prisoner, you have everything you've ever wanted, but you're still not satiated. If you're the escaped one, you left the old system and you're still living by its architecture. You're living in the past. The hyper-capable one, you're exhausted from using your power to hold everything together. The self-aware one, you understand yourself deeply, but you haven't translated that knowing into how you live. The icon, you are recognized by everyone except the part of yourself you stopped listening to. The responsible one, you have built your identity around being the one who can handle it. The awakened one, you have expanded beyond the life your old consciousness created. The one who doesn't want more. You have discovered that more achievement isn't the same thing as satiation. The rebel who built another system. You escaped external control and unknowingly recreated it internally. The sovereign. You're finally asking what deserves to be at the center now. So underneath all these 12 phases, it's the same question. What is my life still being organized around that I have already outgrown? And this is why with success, it's very hard to witness these limitations because you're trying to work in an architecture that's not working for you. But the information out there, it's all about optimization. It's about doing more. It's about refinement and sort of actually questioning the system that you're creating within. So this is where you often find yourself making money organized around safety, having your business organized around proving yourself, having your relationships organized around belonging, having your calendar organized around productivity, your identity around competence, your environment around what you've already achieved, right? So you can tell that the things that you desire are organized around something you never had in the past. And that something you never had in the past, you had to survive that identity to receive your current desire. And that's why you feel disconnected from it right now. So if you're going to take anything from this video, you need to realize that your consciousness can arrive somewhere before your architecture does. So this is where you feel I know I'm somebody different, but my life doesn't reflect it. It's because your consciousness is already there. With Neville Goddard, it says, live in the end, right? And you are waiting for the architecture to show up. We want 3D to show up, except this is not reality meeting you and rearranging around you. This is where your inner masculine shows up and restructures where you exist, what is within your own control to restructure and rearrange, right? And this is what we're doing together right now. There's a difference between knowing you've outgrown something and actually having the capacity to reorganize your life around what comes next, right? So your capacity right now is based on what you had to survive in the past that was disconnecting you from your desires. Now you want to expand your capacity so that it is not coming from survival, it's coming from coherence. So you can know, see, deconstruct, understand like all the patterns, right, that make you so self-aware, and still be like negotiating with the thing that you've actually outgrown. And it's just a development progression that you're not aware of. And this is why I'm here, to help you understand that. So your consciousness already has architecture, but when the architecture hasn't crystallized into 3D, we might feel like, oh my gosh, I have nowhere to place it because, right? So when your consciousness is already in the future and the current architecture that you have cannot hold it, it feels like you're holding something, right? In the air. It feels like I'm in a weird liminal space where I'm holding something. I know there's something here, but I can't bring it into 3D, right? And it's because your current architecture doesn't allow you to put your current consciousness into it. There's no space. So this is where, like I said before, you want spaciousness, but you're building your business around constant output. Or you want intimacy, but your identity is built around self-sufficiency. You see what I'm talking about? So these nuances, right? Where you're like, oh, I want freedom, but your money is organized around proving. Like when you want to be free, there's no attachment to how other people perceive you. If you want pleasure, your calendar is not going to be organized around productivity. So we're not often aware of how we do this because we're always in go mode. We're always like, it's all about looking at optimizing and going in the future. But we never look at like, oh, what is outdated right now? What needs to be replaced? Where do I need to pivot? Where do I need to rearrange my stuff so it better matches where I am right now and prepares and creates space for what I'm now pulling in from the future. Well, this is nothing. It never had anything to do with trying to figure out what you want. It was always about, what you already know, but you don't have the words to capture. And this is where the 12 faces help you to really find the nuance of the gap that you feel right now. So I'm curious if you comment below this video what that nuance is for you. Hi, so before I let you go, I wanted you to see this progression, this developmental progression we've been talking about. So based on the characters, the faces that I gave you, Miranda Priestley, she built the machine, right? Elle Woods kept optimizing herself for the game, the love game. Barbie, or in this case, we didn't use Barbie, who did we use for the Beautiful Life Prison? We used Edith Bill from Grey Gardens, right? She had everything she was supposed to want, right? And then Truman found out that the architecture wasn't actually his. He was just surviving within it. He was just creating his life around it. And that's where that disconnect, like, wait a minute, there was a glitch, right? In his consciousness. Miranda Bailey, the doctor from Grey's Anatomy, Everett knew that she could handle it. Whilst Christina, she understood everything, but she never felt like she was understood. And oftentimes that comes from always seeking answers and not being satiated with not knowing, right? So Maddie from Euphoria, or we used Hannah Horvath from Girls, right, as the icon. It was always, everybody sees the identity. It's all about the identity. It's all about how other people perceive me. And you're abandoning yourself in the process. And you're forgetting who you really are. And you're merging with your false identity. With Elsa from Frozen, she made responsibility synonymous with love. So she could not rest to receive love. She wasn't a human being. She was a human doer. Neo from The Matrix, he couldn't unknow what he's seeing, and that is like the torture with awakening into the world. Like once you know, like Once I know that, oh, cobalt, how they mine cobalt, they get little orphaned kids in Congo to dig up the stuff. Like now I cannot not know that. I have to use that um, um, as a way, as an internal motivation to research for cars. If a car is not transparent with how they their resource, how they get their resources, I don't want anything to do with it. Because by me knowing and by me participating in that, then I'm aligning myself with that kind of world. And with Samantha, it's she knew more wasn't the answer, right? It was never more. She was at the limit. She had arrived. So when you find yourself there, it's not about what more can I get, because it's your field. You're there. You're at the peak, right? And you're at the peak and you're looking down. So it's a whole different question. With Daenerys, I don't even know if I'm saying this from the Hunger Games. No, not Hunger Games. The Game of Thrones, right? She escaped the system and reproduced power, but the power became fragmented because she hadn't integrated what she known. She was just coming from from like becoming what she survived. With Moana, which is where when we progress thoroughly through that, right? We become Moana, where you discover what is actually yours. And this is why I'm here to help you finally come to this combination of like, hey, oh, this is mine. I don't have to carry that, right? Because once you know what is yours, life becomes lighter and it becomes easier to communicate this liminal space, this limbo stage you're in. So if you've noticed, the developmental progression is coming from building, optimizing, acquiring, escaping, overfunctioning, understanding, performing from understanding, right? Because you know more, and then you carry more, and then you awake and you're like, wait a minute, and then you're like, oh, I'm satiated. Now I'm free. I'm liberated. Now I'm the author of my life. Now you're funneling consciousness the way you actually want to, in a coherent way, not in a fragmented way. So I only have 12 spots in the Sovereign Codex. If you've read my post, I'll leave it below in the description box where you can actually get a deeper understanding of what we did here, because this is just an integration of the article. The Sovereign Codex, I only have 12 spots because I want it to be intimate. I want to give each person as much time as I can. And we're going to do this ideally until December, but depending on each person's pace, it might take 1 or 2 weeks more. But through the Sovereign Codex, we're going to be moving through that development progress so that we're not abandoning all those parts of you. We're bringing them all together. And a lot of in the spiritual community, it's all about, oh, kill this ego, kill that ego. But we're not, oh my gosh, I'm not even supposed to say that word on YouTube. Hopefully my accent covers that. But, you know, we're not getting rid of any ego. We're using those different egos to point down to the architecture where you've been unconsciously organizing your life around, because your being always is to protect you. So what part of your ego is a threat to yourself, right? What part of your ego is revealing where there's a threat to yourself, to who you are right now? So once we know that, now we can bring in more the insight to work with where you are, not where you think you are, right? Where you actually viscerally are. And then we reorganize your life around that with that knowledge. Everybody's architecture arranges the different under different conditions around different facets of your being. So it's always going to be unique to you, right? Sometimes you might notice you might have one face, sometimes you might have 5 faces, sometimes it's all of them. So how do you work with that, right? It's not 3D language. There's no logic involved. It needs your intuition. But when you get your intuition from these faces, it becomes distorted. You want that intuition that never changes, that's always there. So we're coming back home to that. So you can find more information below in the description box. But I'm curious, which one of the 12 faces did you resonate the most with? Leave it in the comment section. Otherwise, my name is Rudo, Mo Alchemisty. Welcome to Mental Alchemy Academy. I'm a clear channel of Sri Venus, and I'm an emotional sovereignty architect. See you on the other side.